Um, this one is a bit of a weird one. I don't want to pretend that I'm in a form of community, so I won't fully understand. But I have to start by talking about Sam Smith now. Sam Smith has gone from claiming he's gay to non-binary, and I also believe he mentioned that he now doesn't necessarily see himself as any form of gender. Maybe that's what non-binary means. Listen, I haven't done enough research, so I'm only going to speak on the subject, but not necessarily that what he goes for. But for people that don't know who Sam Smith is, an artist, singer, got some major hits. Hey, listen, that shit was hard. Wasn't that Naughty Boy and Sam Smith, bro? Hey, listen, man, I ain't even gonna play. That tune was fire. He's got a couple of hits as well. Like Sam Smith is a big boy artist in the game. But anyways, yeah. So come out's gay, come out's non-binary. Now he doesn't identify as any form of gender. Anyway, listen, Sam Smith be changing his pronouns every 2 days, right? That's just what he does. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, because I fuck with a lot of the lgbtq scene. Actually, funny enough, talking of the lgbtq scene, I know I'm taking too long with the story. One of my homeboys at Chat and Chill was of the lgbtq gay male, and I used to love our conversations because whenever we would talk about like our preferences, like I just loved the way he would talk about what he liked in a man, and it was crazy because he looked like an alpha, but wanted an alpha. I used to always find that quite funny, but so I don't know why I mentioned that, but yeah, I just always thought that was quite funny. Like, he looked like an alpha, so I would just assume that he might want somebody a little bit more feminine male, but no, he wanted a guy that was like six packed up in the gym, looking like a boxer, like an Anthony Joshua, and yet he kind of looked like that himself, which was quite interesting. But just for us, I don't know why. But anyways, shout out to my man though. You know who you are. Chat and Chill crew, gang. So anyway, let me put the story now. Artist Sam Smith has spoken out about the public abuse they have received since coming out as non-binary in 2019. They claim that one person even spat at them in the streets. Although friends and family have been very welcoming, Sam explained that they were not prepared for the public reaction. What people don't realise with trans and non-binary people in the UK is it's happening in the streets. I'm being abused in the street verbally more than I ever have. I really want to get somebody off the LGBTQ trans crew to discuss this further. I do actually have a trans brethren. I don't know if I can get them on right now. I would love to just slap the phone call in. I might just send a quick text and get them involved. I think it's unfair that the choices people make, they are getting ridiculed for it in the public. I think somebody as a black man who understand my form of being ridiculed in public in terms of this color of my skin, not comparing the two. I'm just saying, I don't want to see anyone go through what I went through or what anyone goes through based on something that's clearly what they want to do. Now, obviously, me being black wasn't necessarily a choice. I was born black. I couldn't wake up one day and say I'm black. It's not exactly the same thing. But in terms of just being spat at, abused, whatever in public, it's not fun. It's not nice to see. Let the man them live. Let the man do what they want to do and let them live how they want to live. Now, personally, for me, like I was saying before I even told the story, I don't fully understand where Sam Smith is at as a person. I don't actually know if he fully knows who he is as a person. I'm just basing this on the fact that he's making a lot of changes or making a lot of statements publicly about who he is, and he seems to not keep the same energy. So I don't really fully understand where he's at. I don't know what he thinks of himself as a person. I don't fully understand if he understands, or I don't know if he even knows who he is yet. I think maybe he's still trying to find himself. I don't know. Who knows? Interestingly talking about this non-binary thing, and before I make any form of mistake about non-binary, I'm gonna read out what non-binary means because I feel like it's non-binary people may identify as an intermediate or a separate third gender, identify with more than one gender, no gender, or have a fluctuating gender identity. Gender identity is separate from sexual or romantic orientation. Non-binary people have various sexual orientations. So basically, earlier I kind of messed up them. So yeah, basically, he came out of non-binary, basically saying he ain't really a gender. So I was pretty much right, but I thought I was wrong. I just wanted to make sure I was correct. So yeah, so you better watch the full clip now, because don't tell me I was wrong the first time. Just saying. It's an interesting one. I'm not. Listen, I'm not. I'm not one of the people that should tell people who they can and can't be. All I'm gonna say is, you can be whoever you want, personally. Now we don't have to agree with it. I was brought up in a fairly Muslim household. Well, I am a Muslim, so I have a very Islamic way of looking at things, right? It's just, unfortunately, it's just the way it has been for me. Now, do I care about whether you're trans, gay, lesbian, non-binary? No. I think you should be able to do whatever you want, because whatever you do doesn't necessarily affect what I do. Like, I have friends that are trans, I have friends that are gay, and I have friends that are lesbian. Like, it doesn't affect me. Like, at the end of the day, I'm cool if you're cool and we're living. You know what I'm saying? One of my best friends is like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no issues with what you pick and what you choose. I think the only issue that I'm having, or I don't know if I'm having an issue with it, but it's just the way that all of this information is kind of being forced upon us. And when I say forced upon us, I'm talking about like what's going on with, the education system, schools. I don't know if I agree with young kids having to sit through all of this. Now, do I think they should know and understand this kind of conversation that's going on right now? 100%. I think there's so many different types of people in this world nowadays. That's more than what we talk about in terms of racism and understanding different cultures. The LGBTQ is now a form of a culture that I believe people should know and people should understand. Now, at what age group is it acceptable? Debatable. But I do believe that families of certain cultures, whether that's Muslim, African descent, it's a subject that they don't really want to have. So why force their kids to have it? Does that make sense? I just don't think you should force their kids to have a conversation that they don't want their kids to have. Now, whether that's fair, debatable. Again, I just don't think we should force other people's kids who are going through their cultural upbringing. So let's just stick to Islam at this point of view. In Islam, you shouldn't have same-sex relationship. You shouldn't change your gender, etc., 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 right? Then why are you forcing their kids to learn that in school when clearly that's not what they're learning at home? Their parents don't want that. Their parents don't believe in that. So then why are we forcing them to believe in that? Do you get what I'm saying? That's my only point, and I'm leaving it there because I don't really feel like getting cancelled for saying something that I don't think is wild, but it'll just be seen as wild to everyone. And it's sad because, like, I feel like this conversation is a good conversation. I would gladly, like, for me, I hope I'm not even disappointing my own friends by, making my points here. Because, they're my people, and the fact that they're different is the reason why, they're my people. I love people that are different. I get on well with them, and we have great times together. Whether that's partying in the nightclubs, family. Like, some of these men will be taking me to Soho. We're up in heaven, getting lit. Like, bro, I have no issues with them. You know what I'm saying? With them, I'm not saying like that, but I have no issues. I just think people have their own different beliefs. People have their own different way of thinking. I've accepted that when it comes to racism. Look, some people just ain't gonna like me because I'm black. It's cool. Like, I don't care enough if my skin color bothers you to the point where you don't want to roll with me. Don't roll with me then. But be open and honest that you don't rate me, because if you're gonna lie to my face, you're wasting my time. And I think people should be allowed to have an opinion on what they do and don't like. We live in a world in today's society where I would rather know you're racist, and I think it would be good to know if you don't rate a gay person or a lesbian person. If you don't, then just say you don't, and let's keep it moving. Because lying about it and acting like you're something that you ain't, it's worse to me. Like, it's worse to me. Be honest. If you're not feeling the vibe, tell us you ain't feeling the goddamn vibes. You feel me? And